We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Wow. Mayweather Promotions CEO says that Tank Davis generates and makes more money in a single fight than all these other dudes in or around his division. That's what I want to talk about right now in this video. Stay tuned. Now, Fred on Twitter put in a tweet, quote, "It doesn't matter what Devin Haney says. He is locked up for 2 fights with Top Rank. He signed that deal knowing what it entailed, but he is trying to pump up the internet to pretend." In response to this, Mayweather Promotions CEO Leonard Ellerbe worked with Tank and, really helped brand Tank, him and the company. This is what he says in response to that tweet. "Yeah, he has a deal with Top Rank. That's none of my business what Bob Arum does with his guys. All fighters have a cap on what they make unless you are a pay-per-view fighter. I'll say it again. Tank Davis generates more revenue in a single fight than these guys have made in their entire career. Not rocket science here." Wow. So that's a pretty bold claim, for some, but I don't doubt it. Tank Davis is really hot. Tank Davis is bringing out stars, Tory Lanez and LeBron James, Madonna, and he's backed by Floyd Mayweather, right? So you have to understand he has a head up. Like, we all know that, at least for my generation, the greatest fighter of this generation is Floyd Mayweather. He's the one that made the most money, and he's the most noted and notable guy. And coming up underneath him is a Mayweather Promotions fighter, Gervonta Davis. And you can say what you want, but they've done an exceptional job bringing to the masses the Tank Davis project, right? Making you aware of who he is and his story, where he comes from, and, getting to meet his trainers, things like that. And they've done a great job. You can hate, and I see plenty of people doing that, hating on Tank and saying this and that and doing polls, how many people are going to buy his pay-per-view. None of that matters, because at the end of the day, it's all eyes on Tank when Tank has a fight. He just has the it factor. People seem to be locked in, paying attention, and that's just that. So Leonard Ellerbe saying that Tank makes more in a single fight than any other dudes in their entire careers of boxing. Wow. But I understand what Ellerbe is saying, because you have to understand boxing as a business. And I've been in the sport. I've been blessed to have longevity in the sport. So I tend to think I know a bit about boxing. And what he's saying makes a lot of sense, because you look at the pay-per-view model. Yes, you had companies come in like DAZN and claim that pay-per-view is dead. But this Saturday, what are they doing? They got Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G3, a fight well past its expiration date. And guess what? They conformed. All that pay-per-view is dead nonsense. And now they're putting the fight on pay-per-view. So they went from suggesting that pay-per-view is dead and they were going to put all these people, including Showtime, where Tank Davis has been fighting, out of business, and PBC out of business, to conforming, can't beat them, join them type of attitude. So what Leonard Ellerbe is saying is absolutely true when you understand the business of the boxing. Tank Davis, since the Leo Santa Cruz fight, has fought on pay-per-view. Every single fight. So Leo Santa Cruz, which was a banger in the pandemic, and it still had a healthy crowd with social distancing, doing crazy live gates. If I'm not mistaken, the top live gates from that particular pandemic year, 2020, was Errol Spence was number 1. He had a fight with Danny Garcia, come back from accident. That was the highest live gate in boxing. Then you had, behind that was Canelo. Canelo Alvarez fought Caleb Smith. He sued Golden Boy to get out of his contract, ended up fighting late in the year against Caleb Smith as a free agent back on DAZN. That did a good live gate. And then behind that was Tank Davis. You guys can fact check me if you want or take my word for it. I'm the boxing encyclopedia. So those were the 3 top highest gates for boxing in that 2020 pandemic year. Tank has been fighting ever since that year on pay-per-view, and they were building, and he was generating a lot of steam the year before that in 2019, supposed to fight Abner Mares, but Mares pulled out with a detached retina. So then he ended up fighting a late replacement, Hugo Ruiz. Still had tons of celebrities like Lil Wayne. Yeah, I'm single, nigga, I had to cancel that, but like, I ain't tripping on that. I'm sipping on something, and my homeboy said he got a bag. Yo, moolah, man. They had Lil Wayne, Birdman, Odell Beckham, Drake. They were all at that fight. Then he fought at Baltimore, and he's from Baltimore, so that was a sellout crowd, amped up crowd. And then he fought Gamboa, and I went to both of those fights, Gamboa and the ATL. Then immediately after that was Leo Santa Cruz the very next year, and that's when he was on pay-per-view, and he's never looked back. Every single fight he's had, Mario Barrios, Esau Pitbull Cruz, Rolando Romero, these are all pay-per-view fights, people, all of them. So what Leonard Ellerby is saying, it makes a whole lot of sense if you understand the business. Tank, like Mayweather, is the only fighter in his age bracket that is fighting on pay-per-view. That being said, there is a cap on how much you can make, because when you fight on pay-per-view, it's kind of like a barbecue, right? Where you're, in essence, the promoter, the network, whoever's hosting the fight, you're asking the consumer to, like, hey, we're going to throw this barbecue and we're going to take care of the carne asada. We're going to, have the hamburgers and the hot dogs, and bring your own beer, BYOB, bring something to the gathering, to the function, to the cookout, right? That's what they're, in essence, asking the customers and the consumer to do with a pay-per-view. They're saying, hey, this is a top fight and or high grossing, top earners in the sport. So to present this matchup, we need the public to chip in. And by chipping in, we need $75 on average, right, for a pay-per-view fight. Same thing with the UFC. This is how it works. So that being said, Tank Davis being the only one on pay-per-view, he's the only one that can get the additional residuals and the back end money from the success of his pay-per-view fights, $75 a pop, right? If Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney, no matter who they're fighting, they could have great fights. Like Devin Haney fought for Undisputed in Australia. He basically kind of got a flat fee unless there was some other unknown deal, but it wasn't on pay-per-view, and if anybody got like international or Australian rights to, maybe, let's say the fight was on pay-per-view in Australia, it would probably be the Aussie fighter in George Kambosos rather than the American fighter, but that's just me speculating. You look at Ryan Garcia, his fights are on DAZN, and he doesn't have equity in the company. His company that he is signed to is Golden Boy, and they have a deal with DAZN. So I don't see how anyone's salary can really match Tank Davis, just based on when you have the pay-per-view model, it's limitless how much you can earn, and the bigger the event, the more you can generate. Versus, if, I don't know, Devin Haney or Kambosos fight on ESPN, Devin Haney nor Kambosos has a deal directly with ESPN where they can eat off of that. You know what I mean? Because the deal is through Top Rank. So that's just a business 101. Let me know what you guys think of these comments. Also, subscribe, like, and comment SLC. I'll keep dropping the hits, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.